Yo, this is the Scarcity Studios YouTube channel. Please don't forget to like, comment, share and subscribe. And our sponsors are Alpha Claims and Hire Birmingham, the leading and best accident management company. Get a replacement car anywhere in 1 hour. I really appreciate you joining me again today, and this story comes from Birmingham. This story happened on the 4th of December last year, and before we get into it, I just want to speak about previous articles that I've seen on this subject as well. The Birmingham Mail has actually said that this man was shot during this incident, but this is not correct. He was shot at with a blank firing handgun, but he didn't suffer any injuries. And the judge also states this in the same article that the Birmingham Mail said that he was shot when they posted it. So I thought it was really important to get that bit of information out there because there's no reason to mislead people. The police put out very clear statements, and at the end of the day, this should be put across to you so that you can decide what you think of this story. This involved 3 people that were all 17 at the time of the case, and they have been jailed for the murder of a man in a Birmingham park in Winson Green. This happened in Summerfield Park, and I attended this scene as well. And there has also been a lot of shootings around that area in the past few years. So I know a lot of people at the time thought this may have been gang related. But it turns out that it's very far from that. In actual fact, what it is that 2 boys and 1 girl set up a man who they believed wanted to have sex with women and lured him to the park where he was killed. Danish Mansha, Rimsha Tariq and Daiyaan Arif, all aged 18 now, used the internet to find someone they believed wanted to have sex, violent sex, with women. So there must be a reason the police have said violent sex. They have gone through everyone's messages, so something in that chat must have revealed to the police that information. Sohail Ali is the victim. He was 29 years old and he was lured to Summerfield Park on the promise of meeting a girl on the 4th of December 2020. He'd been speaking with Tariq online before agreeing to meet with the girl in the park where Mansha, armed with a knife and a blank firing handgun, and Arif lay in wait. Sohail was ambushed in the park at around 2:30 in the daytime. He was stabbed 7 times and shot at. He was attacked with such force the knife snapped and part of the blade was embedded in his chest. He was rushed to hospital for treatment and sadly died the same day. After the attack, the teenagers ran off, but CCTV seen the moment that Mansha and Arif actually celebrated by doing a fist pump shortly after the murder. Footage seized from every possible camera enabled homicide detectives to trace the teenagers, and they were arrested on suspicion of murder a few days later. And lots of evidence was found on their mobile phones, and although some of it had been deleted, the police said that forensic teams were able to recover quite a lot. Conversations were found on messaging apps and cross-referenced those with the victim's phone to piece together exactly what had happened. The teenage killers were in regular contact with each other in the days leading up to the murder, and Tariq continued to chat to Sohail via WhatsApp and Instagram up until half an hour before he was killed. Following the arrests, the teens refused to answer any questions. The police had enough evidence in relation to DNA, CCTV and the digital messages. The Crown Prosecution Service authorised a murder charge for all 3 teenagers on the basis of joint enterprise. All of them denied murder, and after a 10-week trial at Coventry Crown Court, Mansha and Tariq were found guilty of murder and Arif was convicted of manslaughter. Mansha was also found guilty of possession of a bladed article, and sentencing yesterday seen Mansha from Birmingham jailed for a minimum of 19 years. Tariq, also from Birmingham, jailed for a minimum of 9 years, and Arif from Albury and Sandwell was jailed for 3 years and 6 months. Detective Inspector Laura Harrison from the homicide team said this case was really sad. It was a completely senseless attack that took a life and changed 3 others forever. The police have worked tirelessly, they said, and today's verdict cannot bring Sohail back, but they are pleased that they have secured justice for him and his family. Following the sentencing, Sohail's family said they are very pleased that the suspects were found guilty and jailed for their brutal crime. Sadly, nothing will bring Sohail back to us. He was murdered for no reason and his life was stolen from him. So I thought that was a really interesting story for many reasons, especially for why you believe this happened and also understanding as to why it happened. It seems these kids thought there was an opportunity to make some money. It seems very simple that was probably the reason as to why this all started. And it can just go to show that the silly amount of money that they would have taken from this man would not have been worth the rest of their lives in prison. So I really appreciate you joining me today. Thank you for all the support. I'll be back again very shortly. Please don't forget to follow me online as well at Scarcity Studios on Instagram, Facebook, TikTok and Twitter. And send your stories to news@scarcitystudios.com. Peace.